right, real quick, man. We back at it again. I go by Mr. Check Your Temp, right? So we talking health adversity, right? So if we're doing health adversity, so I got this video, man. I have to shout out and give props where props is due. So shout out to Well Off Media, Deion Sanders, Jr. That's his media company, right? So he's been following his father through his journey of dealing with this, his cancer situation, right? We all know it's not a secret that, you know, they took his bladder and they took his bladder out, cut a piece of his, I'm assuming his large intestines, and made him a new bladder, right? So we're gonna watch this video, man, and just, we're gonna tap in, man. We're gonna tap in, man, because I can relate, you know, to a lot of this, his story. No, I never battled cancer, knock on wood. But let's tap in. I ain't gonna keep preaching. Let's go.
Okay. I'm gonna leave some extra dressings here for you guys.
Okay. It's truly preparing me.
Tesla or it's whatever it is.
It's just four. They're just 4x4s.
Okay.
They're just little or 2x2s.
Tegaderms.
Tegaderms.
Okay.
Yeah. But you have to be careful with the tegaderms. Like you can't stretch it too much.
Correct.
Then it'll. Just gonna pull the little hairs out. Sorry, Coach. I know. They're starting growing back, huh? Fast. All right, starting to. Okay. Now I'm gonna pull this off. This is all going in the trash. Just a memory.
Great memory.
Great memory. This one's gone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, deep breath. All right, that part's done.
They were that long?
They were all the way up to the kidneys. All right. So now let's talk about the next part.
Oh, no, let's break.
Okay.
You gotta tell me about that.
Okay. So I've been thinking about. So I left my card. I have a.
I want to put something in the air real quick, right? So they just took out 2 tubes he had in him, right? And when I tell you that's some of the hardest thing to put that much trust in somebody, right? You gotta have faith, right? You gotta believe in something bigger than you to trust people to do this type of procedure in the comfort of his own home, right? And they very professional ladies, right? This is I'm quite sure they very super sanitized because this is what they do, right? But just speaking from where Deion at in this situation right here, you know what mind frame you gotta be in when you feel like. When you feel somebody taking a tube out your body, right? These are surreal moments, right? For example, I had a port pulled. In order to take the port out, they burnt my skin, so to smell your skin burn for the first time while you woke. So he's not asleep. He's woke while they pulling a tube out of him, right? So all this is like your anxiety on a million. Right, your anxiety on a million, right? Just dealing from this situation, his anxiety is heightened, right? Just for the simple fact of any kind of pains and kinks and crannies. Oh, what's that? What's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? As they like to call it, what they call a hypochondriac, right? Hypochondriacs are made, right? They're not born, they're made. Because when you go through too many surgeries, too many episodes, right? You will set in some type of paranoia, right? When one day you wake up, you go to bed, good, you wake up, call it 9/11, right? Anxiety kick in. Let's tap in.
So the catheter's sitting in the new bladder.
Just sit me up here.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna take this out. Okay, so the catheter's sitting in the new bladder.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're gonna have to do to pee is you're gonna have to relax your pelvic floor.
Can we talk about getting the catheter out first?
Well, so the reason I'm telling you this is because I'm gonna give you options on how you want to do this.
Okay.
Okay. So what I was thinking is we could actually fill it up like they were irrigating, but leave fluid in your bladder and see how you do.
What does that mean?
Have you go to the bathroom and see how well you empty.
Okay. Now, let's prepare me, because the last time I wasn't prepared, not by you guys, but I wasn't prepared personally for the pain that came when I tried to pee. That was the most. I've never felt pain like that in my life.
I think you'll be better this time.
I don't want to think though. I want to know. Like even.
I'm gonna tell you something, right? And the reason I smile right there because I understand that. When you're dealing with hospitals, you're dealing with doctors, and you're dealing with when you're about your health, and this is your body, and you've been through so much pain, right? He just said that when they pulled the catheter out the first time, he said he was in excruciating pain that it hurt so bad. So he asked her, like, what can he do? What can y'all do for him not to feel that pain again, right? And she said, I think you will be okay. He'd say, oh, no, don't think. I want to know. And that's what they don't understand, right? Because sometimes when, if doctors, nurses, etc., right? If that's your profession, sometimes you're not thinking about speaking in layman's terms where your patient could comprehend what you're saying. This is why it's good to always have somebody around you, right? Because sometimes when you talk that health talk, and especially when it's new to you, and this is a new situation that you going into, you can zone out. And all you hear is gibberish. So it's always good to have somebody around you with you when you're dealing with these type of health issues, right? So they can catch what you don't miss. What you gonna miss because you gonna zone out. At some point, you don't even want to hear their voice no more. But he's talking about the pain he's scared to feel when they pull this catheter out this time around.
The gentleman that you had me speak to, he said the same thing. Like he had never experienced nothing like that. Burn was an understatement. That was, I was in the fetal position screaming.
Yeah,
I've never, and blood was all over the hospital floor. I mean, I was just, that was pain. Then
traumatized.
Probably 8 minutes afterwards, I still felt like that until it finally cleared up.
I think some of that was also the bladder too, though. The bladder was spasming as you were trying to pee. Now that the bladder's gone, that nerve ending stuff should not be there, and it should be a lot smoother. It will still burn.
So she's saying should and think a lot, right? And of course she don't know. She's trying to comfort him, and I understand that. But when you're dealing with a man of his caliber, and you're dealing with a man in facts and logic, right? Think and should is not in the vocabulary, right? Because he got to deal with that pain. He got to deal with the consequences of the situation, right? But she's doing her job. She's doing the best thing she can do, is trying to comfort him. And we know that there's no strike to her. Of course not. She's doing her job. And she's great, and she's doing a very good job, if you ask me. Because she's trying to console him, because, make sure he's okay and make sure he's comfortable. But he like, nah. Can you guarantee? And if she say no, no is no. At least he know. Got to say that. Let's tap in.
But it should be doable.
Okay. So, is the process taking us out? Is that painful?
No, it feels weird. So what I think we should do is, I want to show you the pictures, okay? But then.
And just for real, I'm just on some real deal Holyfield, right? It's like, I'd had a catheter before, and it do feel weird, right? It feel weird going in, and it feel weird coming out, right? But if you look at Deion's face, right, the anxiety I speak of, man, I mean, some people is blessed to never have to experience any kind of health issues. You blessed. If that's you blessed. I take my hat off to you, and I might be a little jealous. I ain't even gonna hold you, right? But you blessed, right? So, but for me to understand what this man going through, like I said, I done had surgeries on top of surgeries, 2 metal hips, metal shoulder, lost my eyesight, right? So I get it. I get the anxiety. I get the, you know what I mean? But you look at it, he's still trying to keep his mental on point. He's trying to keep his mental on point, and I dig it, right? But I love the way his son is there for the support. I love the way his family surrounds him, right? Because that's what you need when you battle with any kind of health issue, right? You need that. You feed that, right? And a lot of times, guess what? You might not even talk. You sitting there zoned out, but the fact that you got the energy around you, and the energy is pure, it's enough. But if you look at Deion Sanders' face, you can tell he's zoned out. And rightfully so. This is a new journey for that man, right? This is a new journey for him. But like I said, but his faith, his hard work, right? Puts him into the best position he can be in to fight this new journey of health issue and the healing process of it, right? Having to learn how to use the bathroom again. And he keep it a buck. He wear it depends. He said out of his own mouth. And he said it with a laugh. He laughed saying it. But we already know every laugh ain't a ha ha he he. Right? Man, sit down. That's my dog. Say, that's my dog. But every laugh ain't that. He's laughing to keep from crying. To be honest. And I get it. And I understand it thoroughly. Right? Because he said, when you see me out there, then you're going to see a porta potty on the sideline. Because it's like that. Right? But I take my head off to him just on the fortitude. Right? The fortitude, right? The resilience to keep going, to get up every day, to be a coach, to still be a father, right? Still be present in time. Do you know how much mental strength you need to do that? I don't think you know. Some people know, some people don't. Because that fight right there is like no other fight. That fight consumes you, right? Because you're thinking all the possibilities, which you shouldn't. Yeah, people say, oh, well, you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. Yeah, I understand that thoroughly too. But the subconscious and it creeps in. Now, I ain't say you at the party and you stand there, but it's gonna creep in. And then you come to a phase of your life. He said he had 14 surgeries. When he had this last, there was 14 surgeries. And he was like, hey, let's go. And that's how it be. When you get your first surgery, you paranoid, you crying and stressed out. You get your second surgery, you crying. You get your third surgery, you crying. And you get your fourth surgery, you like, what we doing? God got me. And that's where it be at. And that's where he was at with that 14th. Right? If y'all watch any of his footage that his son did, when old girl, what's her name, Karuchi, when she was saying it, when they was in the hospital before the surgery, and she was like, well, she had to tell the people what was going on with him. And at some point, I understood that. Because if you speak, you're going to cry. If you speak, you're going to cry. And that's why she had to speak for him. That's why every so often the nurses have to speak for him. Especially in the beginning when he was first dealing with it. And I understand it thoroughly. Because he's still trying to maintain it here. Until he maintain it here and comprehend it, he ain't gonna better speak it without being emotional. But once he comprehend, that's what we see today. 365 never-ending fight. That's what we see today. Right? That's adversity. Right? Tools you need to navigate adversity. That's what it's about. That's health adversity that I speak of when I talk. Right? That's health adversity we speaking on. Right? You got to have the fortitude. At some point, you got to build it up. And you need your family to do that. And you got to be a spiritual being to do that. It's hard to do. Right? Because you put in your trust. I'm going to tell you one time, man. I think it was what shoulder? It was this shoulder, the left shoulder replacement. And I had my dealing with sickle cell, they put a lot of IVs in you. They shoot you up a lot. Right? I done got stuck 15 times just trying to get an IV at one time in one day, in one session to try to get an IV, right? But I had one in my neck. I was always scared to get an IV in my neck because it was so close to my brain, and them IV tubes sometimes get a clot in it. And this is with me comprehending, so I was like, I don't want none in my neck, woo, 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 woo. So what I had the surgery I had for my shoulder replacement, when I went to sleep, they put it in my arm. But when I woke up, it was in my neck. So I'm geeking. I'm stressed. Like, it was a 3-prong. Right? So they ended up sending me home, boom. And they had to tell my ex-wife at the time, you got to drain it. You got to shoot stuff in it. Man, you talking about anxiety? I went home and realized she had to do that. I told her, man, take me back to the hospital. They're saying that they want me in there. And they was like, and they showing her how to do it. My anxiety got so high, I told them to take me back, even though they didn't do it. But they told me, because my anxiety was high. I didn't trust nobody. So for him to trust somebody to pull catheters out of him, right? Pull tubes out his side, That's some trust. It just so happened it was a nurse, the right people with the right credentials to do that. That's their job. But imagine if he had to depend on a family member to transaction him throughout the day. That's just another hurdle, right? But let me tap in. Let me finish this up, man.
And I want to backfill this with saline. Leave saline in your bladder. Okay. So when you go to pee, okay, the first time you go to pee, I recommend you try sitting down. Okay, because you relax a little bit better when you sit down. You'll be able to pee standing up, but usually relax a little better when you sit down.
I gotta sit down in front of myself, pee.
I love the humor, man. They just told Deion he got to sit down and pee. They say when you use the bathroom, once we take these tubes out of you, we want to go see. We're gonna put saline in you up in the new intestines, and we're gonna see if you can pee it out. But she said you should sit down and pee. So he look at his son like, you recording this? Like he's like, I got to sit down and pee in front of my son, right? Yeah, I mean, but you see what I'm saying? It's the sense of humor about the true facts at hand. You gotta have that. You gotta have that, right? Yeah, he laughed. He's smiling, but like I say, man, every smile ain't jolly. You gotta say that. Every smile ain't jolly. Sometimes that smile just be like, that's all I can give you. And the smile be dry, just tight, right? But he's able to try to make a joke out of a real situation to make it better for him to comprehend. You know what I mean? Right? Because he know what's at hand. But it's a beautiful thing, man. Deion, man,
And then, for everybody's most exciting and favorite part of this, I'm going to teach you how to catheterize yourself, and we're going to see how much is left in.
I can't fathom doing it.
We're going to learn, because if you can't.
They just told that man, you got to show me that you can catheter yourself. Do y'all know what that means? That means he got to stick a tube up his private part to the point where it hits his bladder so he can pee his bladder, so he can pee. He got to do that himself. Picture that. He said, I can't fathom. I know what he mean. And I'm going to tell you why I know what he mean. I understand what he's saying thoroughly. Right? So if you know anything about sickle cell anemia, sickle cell patients deal with a thing called priapism. Right? What's priapism, Mr. Checky Tip? Priapism is when you get a sickle cell crisis in your private part, in your mans. When your mans get aroused, right? The sickle kind of clot up and the blood don't flow back. It stays in there. So you could be walking and it's very, 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 very painful, right? It was times where I had to go to the emergency room, right? And I had to tell them, my mans won't go down. And they got to take me to the back. So it's different things they can do, right? One is a pill, right? Loyalty, where you at? Right? One is a pill, right? That's one. They try to give you IV, different things like that, right? First they give you some pain medication. So that time I went to the emergency room, they was able to get it down, right? Because if it stay hard more than up to 4 hours or more, you are damaging your ability to produce kids. It become a health issue then, right? It's basically having a crisis in your private part, and it's very, very painful, right? So I went to the doctor's appointment, the follow-up appointment from the emergency room visit when I had the priapism attack, right? So I go to the doctor. They say, hey, Mr. D, you're going to have to show me that you can stick yourself in the private part. And I told the same thing Deion told that woman. He said, hey, I can't fathom myself doing that. So they wanted me to stick a needle into my man's and pull the blood out. Let me repeat that. You got to stick a needle into your man's and pull the blood out until it go down. I can't comprehend that. And I told the doctor, I said, I can't comprehend that, doc. He said, you got to show me. I said, hey, I ain't sure. I can't show you. I can't do it. Right? He told so he had some saline. He said you got to be. He said because if it ever get to the point you have an erection and it won't go down, it really can do damage to you. So you have to be able to pull the blood out yourself. I could never do it. I just had to pray to God and massage and try to get my workout out. Get my workout in so it can go down. Take advantage of the situation. But I just thank God that I didn't have to do it. But I have seen videos where they have shown sickle cell patients with priapism getting blood drawn out their private part. Big needle. Pull it out. Blood everywhere. It's a bloody thing. It's nasty. It hurts and it look painful. Right? So I understand what Deion's saying. He said, I can't catheter myself. But he gonna have to. He gonna have to. Well, now he got enough money. So he ain't really got to. He can have somebody else do it.
To pee. Maybe you can pee now, okay? But if you can't pee 3 days from now, I'm not going to be here,
Right.
okay?
Right.
Man, we get some reality check.
Okay.
All right? So
The reality check he just got right there, she said, man, if you can't pee 3 days from now, I won't be here. So you got to do it. Do you know the next fortitude, resilient personality, like mind battle he's in? He getting hit every 4 minutes with a jab, a health jab, a reality check jab, and he gotta take them chin shots and comprehend that this is his life now. So best believe he gonna be determined. This is why you see Deion walking 10 miles, fresh out of surgery. Right? He's putting his body into shape to know that I'm gonna have to make myself pee because I'm not trying to stick nothing up my man's to pee. This is why that man walk. This is why that man do what he do. You gotta have that fortitude to be healthy. This is why I tell people, man, when you sitting around don't want to move, don't want to do nothing. If you have been laid up in a hospital or laid up in a position where you can't move for months at a time, and when you finally get to the opportunity to move and you ain't moving, what we talking about? You forgot what you was saying when you was laid up and can't walk. Believe me, man, I'm telling you, I know. And that's where he on. This is why you see he moving the way he moved. Because he refused. He lost 14 pounds. He said, I'm going to get that 14 back. And he going to get it back. Guarantee it. Got to say that. But let's tap in.
we're going to do every 2 hours for 3 weeks. So
You
what
mean
this is
peeing for
peeing.
everything? Okay.
Yeah, so this is all peeing. So usually with people that I leave the prostate in place, because it's sometimes a little bit harder for people to learn how to pee. I usually have people catheterize themselves after they pee every 4 hours. Okay? What this does is it slowly stretches the new bladder to an adequate capacity for you. This keeps it from rupturing, keeps you from getting sick, all those things. Okay? Once it's stretched, once you're done with this schedule, you always need to go like every 4 hours, and you have to get up once at night.
I'm gonna get up.
Okay.
I usually get up 3-4 times a night.
I think you're actually going to sleep better.
That'd be much better.
I truthfully think that some of that was actually the cancer
That's
irritating
good.
your bladder.
Because I mean, it was at least 4 times a night I was getting up to pee.
I think that some of that was probably.
So
That was really like a symptom kind of thing.
He said that he used to get up 3-4 times in the night to pee before the surgery, before he even knew he had the cancer. And the lady was like, that. They said that probably was a symptom. Because he said he didn't have any symptoms when they found the cancer. He didn't have any symptoms. They was looking for, they was doing something else, another scan. They was scanning for his blood clots, right? Because he had that blood clot in his leg, right? So, but they found it that way. So that was probably the symptom they saying now, that he kept getting up 3-4 times in the night, right? And sometimes, he's a busy man, so he ain't looking at like, damn, I'm pissing. He thinking he might be drinking water through the night or something, right? But she just told him, like, you got to catheter yourself because it can erupt. You can get sick. There's a lot of things he got to do, right? I remember back in the day when I first started I think it was one of my surgeries, my hip replacement, right? And since I wasn't mobile and I wasn't moving, I was bedridden, I had to stick myself in the stomach with, what they call it? Heparin, right? Blood thinner. You got to jab yourself in the gut. Boom. Right? And when they first told me that, I couldn't fathom that. I said, man, I can't see myself sticking myself in the stomach with a needle. That's Harry Carey. That's what I told him. But when I was in that bed, and I'm in that bed, and they tell me, so you got to do it. If not, you get a blood clot. Right? Because you got a hip replacement. You're not walking. You got to move around. You have to stick yourself twice a day in your stomach. And guess what I did? Stuck myself twice a day in my stomach. Got to say that. That's what I had to do. I had to do that because when you want to live and you want to be healthy and you want to be a better self, you're going to do what you need to do to get that done. And that's what he comprehended right now. Look at his face. He put it in perspective. But at the same time, he thinking, shit, man, I'm walking I'm gonna get 5 miles in tomorrow. Shit. I'm gonna get 5 miles in tomorrow. We better start back working out. Cause I know I need to build my body up. Cause we ain't about to do this catheter thing. Right? Mental fortitude, resilience, right? Spirituality, right? Peace, right? The company you keep. All this play a factor when it comes to your health. The company you keep, the conversations you have plays a factor when it comes to your health. I tell people quick, I can't fight you and sickle cell. I can't fight you in sickle cell. He can't fight you and have to catheter himself and argue and people got fly-by-night attitudes for the apparent no reason because they not happy with themselves, right? This is what I'm saying. When you in a fight like this, you need nothing but healthy energy through and through. The topics people bring to you, the company you keep, what you listen to, what you watch on TV, right? Right? How long you sit by the river? How long you watch the birds? How long you walk your dog? How long you ride your bike? How long you hit that gym? How long you meditate? Right? These are the positivity things that you got to do when you're dealing with any kind of health adversity. Because you can't do it. I seen people, right? Got health and your man want to argue with you and you battling cancer or something, right? People bringing bogus conversations to you, right? Right? Something wrong with you. Your girl don't want to look at you. I mean, she got attitude. I'm gonna tell you a story. Back when I was married back in the day. I had a situation, right? This years ago, right? I got divorced in 2015, 16. But this was probably like 2012, 2013. And dealing with somebody with sickle cell, sickle cell is it's a hell of a situation on so many levels, right? But it was times I was in a hospital. And back then, old girl at the time, she would come to the hospital with an attitude, right? I seen it. I didn't say nothing, but I seen it, right? Because this is not what this is about. I have to stay here. I can't be there. I need to be here. I need to be in my mental fight because I can't worry about, she got attitude. She probably tired to come up here to see me. I understand this is a thing. It is a thing, right? Your significant other can get tired of their significant other going through health adversity, right? Because, y'all might not be going now. Y'all might not be doing what y'all used to do, right? But that's what, that's what that life consists of, right? Because, it ain't going to be roses every day. But anyway, so I seen that. So when I bounced back, got back on my feet, that was one of the decisions I made when I finally had to leave. I never forgot it. But that was one of the categories that I had to touch on and reflect on, at that time to make me make the final decisions 6 years later. Right? But when you're dealing with health adversity, you can't be around unhealthy people mentally. It will drain you. Your blood pressure spikes, right? But let's finish this up, man. I get real emotional when I talk about health, man, because I understand it as well.
And so my recommendation for the water drinking, try to do most of your water drinking during the day and kind of try to stop like maybe 2 hours before you go to sleep so that you have a lot less in your bladder at night. Let me take it out first and let's have you go to the bathroom and then we'll go from there.
So you want me to take it out, then you want me to go try to pee?
I do. Now.
That's crazy. I'm so scared.
So what you're going to do, I'm going to fill you up. You're going to have to roll.
He got to take the catheter out and try to go pee. You know what he said? He said, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I love the honesty. When you dealing with that, you ain't got time to perp about nothing. Do you hear what I'm talking about? When you dealing with health, you ain't got time to perp about nothing. Pure D honesty. That's what you getting. If I got to fart, I'm a fart. Boom. If I got to pull my man down and pee, I'm going to pull him out right there next to you and pee. I don't care because I am in fight mode. I have no time to think about nobody else and nothing else. I don't have time to be trying to hide, right? And that's what he said. He expressed it. He said, I am scared. I like the honesty. He ain't lying. Yeah, that's some scary shit, man.
Relax the pelvic floor, like you're peeing, having a bowel movement, and you're also going to have to compress your abdomen at the same time. Okay? Push down like you're really constipated. Imagine there's a balloon right here, and you have to push it down. This is all for you to learn how to empty. Eventually, you're going to learn how to empty. It's going to be a muscle memory, and you're going to.
But the best thing is for me to sit down.
I think today, try sitting. You can try standing and see how it goes. We're going to know exactly how much I put in.
I'm a different guy in the bathroom. I got a urinal and a toilet.
Okay. Well,
I don't like to try to aim in the middle of the night.
Gotta say
I always tell my kids that's the best thing for a man to do.
Gotta say
not to aim in the middle of the night.
Get you a urinal and a toilet. Ain't trying to aim. I already know where it's going, to the floor.
He's 5. And by the way, I just want to let you know he dressed himself. So when you see what he's wearing, he totally dressed himself. So
it's good though. It's independence.
He's wearing a Broncos jersey.
It's okay. You like that?
I was like, "Are you sure you want to wear that?"
It's a wasp.
He got a beautiful family, Deion.
Yeah. So
Beautiful family, brother. But yeah, so real quick, man, like I said, man, Deion, man, you know, I take my hat off to you, brother. Wish you nothing but the best on this journey of this new self. Gotta say that. That's why I say, man, you know, 365 never ending fight, right? It's an everyday battle to be your best version of yourself, right? And then, but when, like I say, the things that's guaranteed in life, they say taxes and death. Nah, I put adversity up there, right? Because you're going to deal with some type of adversity from when you wake up in the morning, put your feet on the floor, until you get back in the bed and you put your feet back in that bed. You're going to deal with some type of adversity. And just in his case, if you think about it, he'd been going, right? Beautiful thing, right? Career beautiful, right? You know, he had his surgeries and when it came to football and things like that. He had surgeries like that, right? But then, you know, he went a stint with none, right? And then the blood clot thing. Then he had to get that. Boom, then the toe thing, right? So he been getting jabbed for good 5 years plus straight because it's always something, right? Right? But that's where adversity come into play at, right? You got to have some type of tool to navigate that. It's the only way it's going to make sense, right? But so now he's at this. So, you know, like I said, he's adjusting, right? He got the fortitude, resilience, right? This is why he's constantly moving. He's constantly working out. He's constantly trying to get back to the best self. So that's why I say, man, Deion, I take my head off to you. I ain't going to keep running off at the mouth, man. But, you know, man, I appreciate, you know, the man you are, right? Like I said, he's a healthy man that coach other men, right? And you ain't got to be in his presence for you to get the message. You got to say that. But I'm going to leave y'all with my slogan, man. The fight of life, it takes some coaching, man. Keep swinging. Yeah.